Welcome everyone. Here's Karen. Hello, good to see you. Like even though we've been chatting this morning. We are on episode 21. Our baby's growing up.
Hey, 21.
I will forgive you if your coffee's a little bit Irish today. Mine isn't. I'm on painkillers, so yeah. No, otherwise it probably would be. Celebrating. So for 21 weeks we've been just providing some business tips and insights, but also for us, I think it was more important for community. It was an odd time that we spurred into action and kickstarted this. And community is really important to us, and that's still always, I think, going to be the same thing. But I've had so much fun. I don't know about you.
It's been really good because it's although we do sort of quite a lot of prep behind the scenes, and we sort of prep scheduling them, coming up, we work really well as a team, so you kind of coming up with the title and description, and then I kind of set up all the tech part and do the graphic, and there's that prep behind it. It's really good to sort of not, it's very different to my other show where everything's really prepared and set out. This we get on and it just kind of flows naturally and we can talk about it. So,
and in fact,
I really enjoy it.
I love it. And actually, it's one of the things I keep on saying to clients that are scared about doing their marketing. And actually, I've said to you before as well, but it's a real difference of what type of marketing you're trying to do or how you're trying to promote yourself. Because I've always said it can be fun. It can be fun. And I think for the 21 weeks that I've been doing this, it has been fun. And I feel like you're having fun. The guests that we have on, we have a bit of a giggle on it. It's light-hearted, even though some points might be serious. You can talk about things in a way and frame it that is accessible and inviting for all. So yeah, 21 weeks, and we've actually got our episodes all lined up until the end of the year, and I'm already thinking about next year. So on we go. But this week, what we wanted to talk about, Karen and I are both in sort of marketing services, and we both see how working together with clients, there might be a disconnect with what a client wants and they say they want and actually what they need. And Karen and I, again, known each other for absolutely for years. I won't say how long. Won't be too long. But we really value the importance of a really good brief. And I think that's something that we want to talk, that if you're hiring anyone, even cross hiring, so like if I might be speaking to Karen to help me on my business and my marketing, and though we're both marketing services, I really prepare a detailed brief of what I want, what I'd like, what to expect, and what I need to deliver, what she needs to deliver. And then I love working with her on my website. It goes really smoothly, I think.
It does. You did. And I even when you first started out, and your site map and layout, you drew by hand, I think, and you scanned them in and sent them to me, and I loved it. I'm like, oh, if people could just keep sending us stuff like that, that would be great. All sort of laid out. This is what I want here. And yours are really detailed, so it's really easy for me to, because it's not just about, a lot of time people think, oh, well, I'll just give it to you and you just do it. But I don't know your audience like you do. So giving me that brief, I can look at it and go, yeah, that's possible. And then maybe suggest changes if need be as well. So it's not a case of I'm just expecting everything to be handed to me on a plate. It's having a good brief, yeah.
I think as well, that goes back to like point one, that it shouldn't be like you as a business owner should actually know a hell of a lot more than I think a lot of business owners, when they go hire someone, they go, oh, but they're the expert, they'll tell me. But there are certain things that as a business owner, you should absolutely know. And Karen, you just did a brilliant chat with Lynn yesterday. And Lynn and Karen, Lynn's been on the show before. I love it when Lynn and Karen work together, because you see all the detail about the brand and the business and what the values are and the mission and who the audience is and the tone. And then Karen will take that information and put it into a website, so it really comes to life. And what you'll work with Lynn on designs and certain elements like logos, colours, and it really brings it to life. But then what business owners, there needs to be so much information there from a business side that actually when you write that brief, it's all that information that you would have done that has to go in the brief for then Karen to do the work, or for me to take that information. I think I've worked with you guys before, and literally the pack that I got is like, right, well, this is everything that I would know. I'd have a couple more questions, but actually I can pretty much write my plan based on this. This is wonderful. This is really in depth. This has really got me. Instead of me trying to figure out what the client needs, it is now given me the opportunity, and the same for you, I know that when we work like this, that you then realize, okay, in that time I can find the best solution for you to reimagine this.
Yeah, it's how do you make that better? So it's taking all that and going, great, I've got this now. How do I really make that brand personality and aesthetic and everything come to life? And there's lots of different stages to it. So, you know, people will, when, for example, when me and Lynn are working with the clients, so she will do the branding part of it, but we'll still look at the website and kind of what they want, but they might not know what they want at that stage yet. And then you get what's called a creative brief. And then from the you need that creative brief then to create the logo and the design elements. And then that together, the creative brief together with that design element, then I can use to create the website, because you've got like a brand guideline document. So there's quite a few stages. So quite often people go, oh, I just want a website and here's a logo. You know, that's quite difficult to work with.
But also what I think for every piece of marketing, every piece of that marketing puzzle, marketing has got to have a functionality. You've got to see what the outcomes are. And so with a website, for me, I'd be like, right, okay, when I approach websites, as in my own, and why I think we worked really well, is that I've got a very clear mind. Is my website a shop window? Do I need them to do something on my website? Do they need to buy the products on there? Do they need to download? For me, a website is where you're going to collect your customer information. Like I always say this, your email list is gold. If you put all of your attention on a social media channel and that dies one day, what are you going to do? At least you've got an email list to back up, as a backup. So for me, it's really key that they know, like, and trust people they know, like, and trust the brand and the company through the website, but they provide their email information either through sign up, want more information, or sign up for an offer, so that we can get really the comms going. But in that respect, I've always sat and went, right, what's the customer journey? If we need them to do this on the website, then actually what are the steps that they need to be taken? And then you'll come up and say, no, you can work it like this. You could offer this option. We have to make it easier. It's not obvious enough. So there's lots of reasons why it's super important so when you work on your brief, I would say absolutely be clear on who you are as a company. Communicate that in your brief. What is it that you need to have done, for sure. I'd also talk about the challenges, be honest, because I think a lot of people worry about talking to another company and they fear the reality of, actually, if you were to talk about your challenges or what the problems are, then actually that would be a very raw and vulnerable thing to do. And is that a good thing? And I think it's 100% a good thing. Like, talk about who your competitors are, talk about how you're seen in the industry, what the barriers are, and then that's where these experts can then work with you to try and solve that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say a quick hi we've got a couple of people just joined us. So hi, Nikki, and hi, Janina, all the way from Mallorca. Hello, my lovely. That's great. Thank you for tuning in. What I do sort of when I first start working with someone as well is, and this works whether I'm doing just a website project or working in collaboration with Lynn doing the branding, because we've got 2 questionnaires. So I send just a website questionnaire, or we send a brand and website questionnaire. So it's quite lengthy, but you have to look at your competitors. So you have to go and do some research. I generally ask them to look at websites that they like the look of, so I get an idea of the style of feel. Websites they don't like, And it doesn't have competitors, but also non-competitors, and it's quite a detailed brief, but like you said, they've got to know the basics. So they've got to know, how do they describe their business? Who is their audience? What makes them different to their competitors? And it can take a lot of time. People suddenly go, oh my goodness, I haven't even thought about this. It's making them really think about it. But it's so crucial to do that. And if you don't, then obviously you probably have to speak to a business strategist or something, go and speak to someone to get that initial help. You might just have a product but go, oh, I don't know who that's for. Then you're going to have to go and do some research on that and find out.
And actually, that work that you're going to do, what I try and tell people is if you did that work, that solid golden work, you take that information, and if you're working with a website person, a PR, a digital expert, a social media expert, we all need that information. So actually, it's like, don't think of it as, oh my God, I'm just giving it to the website lady. It's like, actually, this is really good stuff for you to know, because anyone you need to brief. I mean, I've written briefs for social media people, video creators, just to give them the tone, the personality. So as I'm writing it, I need that information anyway for my clients. So
because they've got to speak in your voice, your tone of voice as well, isn't it? Otherwise, people go, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't sound like Karen, or that doesn't sound like Christelle. She doesn't usually speak like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really...
And I think the third one, and this is my gripe, this is my biggest, like, please, if I implore you to do the one thing, put your budget in the brief. And the reason why we say this is not because, obviously get a feel for the person that you're working with, but it is not my job to spend your budget. It is my job to go, what parameters do I have to work within to deliver your objectives? So what is it you want me to do? And realistically, what tools have I got to work with? Because you're going to have to spend for our time and expertise, but also, can we work more creatively on certain aspects? Instead of the best video, can we look at something else to create a video, but it just might not be at the same level, but it's right for your stage right now. And I think that's, I think a lot of people, the amount of times I've spoken, it's clients that I don't know, but they've been scarred. They've literally had their money taken away and they can't see the results. And we get that. We really understand that. But it doesn't mean that you can be very protected over your budget to the point where you're not helping the services team that you're working with. So for me, I would say, don't see budget as a thing that, we're looking at how much have we got to spend all of it. We want more. It's more of a case, when I look at budget, I go, right, realistically, what can I do? And then what are the expectations of that? Because you might have a plan for worldwide domination on a very local budget.
With £1,000 budget, yeah. Exactly.
So we have to sit there and go, right, let's have a look at a local campaign to get the money in so that you can invest in the next stage.
Yeah, exactly. And if someone was to come and say, I've got quite a big budget, but you don't actually need that to what they're asking for, that extra, you can say, well, that extra, you could be doing this, that, or you can use that for ongoing marketing, like you say, or campaigns, or investing in other things. I mean, I generally try and give, once I sort of had contact with people and had that initial chat, or, maybe they filled out the questionnaire, then I give a ballpark figure before I know more information. It often changes, but before writing a big proposal, which takes time and effort putting it in, and then they turn around and go, well, actually, I didn't realize it was going to cost that much, or, what I mean, I can't go ahead. I do kind of try and give a ballpark figure so people know where they're at.
I put my prices on the website. I just make it really transparent.
Yeah, mine as well. Yeah.
Of course you can go cheaper. Of course you can. I'm not going to begrudge you that if you can't afford it. But for what I want to deliver, there is a range of services at every level. So I think that, and like you say, Karen, if if we know what else is going on in the marketing realm of your activity, we don't want you to double up. We don't want, because that will conflict against what you're trying to do. So again, you write that all in your brief. What are you doing? You know, what's working, what's not, challenges, all of these aspects. And you can find somebody that will work with you alongside you. That and that's also the chemistry part. That's something we cannot put on the brief, is the chemistry part, whether or not you actually get a good sense of the person that you're working with. Sometimes when I'm trying to match up clients with various services partners, I look at the chemistry. That's a big thing for me. I'll go, will you look after them in the way that they need looking after? Or, you know, are you as driven, you know, have you got that Rottweiler quality in you to really go for it, like sales driven, like a real bulldog to really drive this forward, because that's the type of personality they need. And it really varies. So I think the only thing that I would say that's off the brief is to be wary of the sort of personality that you think would work best with you.
Yeah.
We all have strengths and weaknesses, every single one of them. This is why earlier to you, what you were saying about how well we work together, it ain't my thing. I draw my website like that. But it's because in my head, I'm very visual. You know, it's either that or maybe I might go onto PowerPoint one day. And, you know, I have given you PowerPoint slides. But
you have given me PowerPoint slides. Well, and I've got such a range of different briefs, some so detailed down to sort of the last letter, and other ones, you know, were completely vague and sort of like, I quite like this and this website. Yeah, make it look like that. So, yeah, but I think I think it's great having that. But, and also, like you say, finding the right fit. But I think, you know, that goes down as well to how good the questionnaires are. And also, it will obviously come down to, you know, whether they've got work in the same way as you, work ethic, and they've got the same values, and that you get on. And then also that they've got the right, you know, they're at the right stage to work with you as well. You know, have they got enough information, but also have they got the right budget as well? So there's some people I've really, really wanted to work with, but they just don't, you know, they haven't got a budget at all. And unfortunately, it's just something, you know, that they'll have to maybe come back at a later time.
And I would just say the cost of not doing this, and when you say that your briefs are really vague, you can be tested, you can, you know, confirm this, but I would say that would be a much longer project for you in comparison to somebody who knows what they want to do. So again, you're spending more on costs, you're probably paying for designs that you don't want or you don't like, and then you have to start from scratch because, you know, so again, the cost of that will just grow if you're not providing a really clear brief in the first place and just doing that work beforehand to save you so much money, time. And also make sure that when you are presented with an idea, you can either dismiss it or embrace it much faster and make those decisions.
Yeah. Well, that's why, you know, often with startups, if they don't have a budget, you know, I will say to them sort of, you know, maybe you need to just go and start with a Facebook page, start with a Google site, start with a Wix site. You know, I don't recommend that for a successful business, but it's a good starting point to live worked in your business for a little while and you know what you want and you know that it's working and you're much more clear than when you come back and you want the real thing. So I do, majority of people I work with have been in business for a few years and then they come for a kind of refresh and stuff like that rather than just starting out, unless they've got that initial budget to put into it. And I think that's probably quite similar with you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, by the time they've come to me, to be honest, I don't work with startups from the off. Like, they need to have done some work. I think by the time that they hire me, they can work with you because they might need that website. But for me, I would really like for them to start thinking about marketing. At the moment, they're still deep in operations. They're still deep in product development and delivery and sort of the mechanics behind it. So for me, it's sort your house out and then make sure it's running smoothly, you've got customer service, all of that, and then come to me about how we're going to promote you. So yeah, there's a difference in there. Oh, brilliant. I think that's helpful tips. And by all means, ask us if you have any questions. But I think it's something that most people that I know that work in marketing services, and when I speak to clients, I really see the disconnect. And for me, it's just a case of understanding each other's language and what we all need. Bit of like the love languages, the five love languages, we all work in different ways and so different things appeal to us. So we have to make sure that we're matching it in the right way to get the result that we want.
Yeah. You've got to have input to get an output. And
I
good
love
input
that.
to get a good output.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Karen. Brilliant.